Welcome to Washington in Focus. I'm Jeremy Lott. Joining me today is the Center Square's Washington's investigative reporter, TJ Martinell. TJ, I love the title of this piece, and you came up with it, so I need to give you credit. It's Gone in 60 Seconds, Division Over Theft in Catalytic Converter Theft Bill. What is happening?
Well, the title came from a statement made by one of the people testifying that a catalytic converter can be stolen under certain circumstances in 60 seconds or possibly less. And that's just kind of shows one of the problems with tackling the catalytic converter theft crisis is that these things can be stolen so quickly as opposed to other types of thefts that are more elaborate, are more complicated, and require more time to actually pull it off. And so the bill is Senate Bill 5740. It's sponsored by Senator Jeff Wilson, a Republican from Longview, and it's trying to deal with this issue. But one of the problems that stakeholders have been highlighting is, one, the speed with which the theft can occur. The other problem is a catalytic converter doesn't have any identification markings that tie it to a specific vehicle. So once it's taken off the vehicle, it's very difficult to say this was stolen from not only a specific vehicle, but it was stolen at all. And so there was a work group that was trying to come up with some recommendations on how to deal with it. And one of the recommendations they made is to require vehicle identification numbers etched onto the catalytic converter. So the last 8 digits of the VIN. Would
we be the first state to mandate this?
I believe so. One of the things is our state we have the worst catalytic converter theft crisis. It's occurring throughout the country, but our state is by far ahead of the pack in that regard.
Car thefts are way up too, yes?
Yeah. We have the third highest total number of car thefts. The other two states beating us are Texas and California. So what the bill tries to do is it's trying to deal with not the actual theft occurring. It tries to deal with the crime after the fact. So it tries to regulate the sale and purchasing of catalytic converters.
Yeah, it strictly licenses it. It says junkyards, if you're going to do, you're going to deal in these, you have to have a special license, this sort of thing, right?
Yeah. And because one of the issues is that the catalytic converters can be recycled. They can be melted down. They can be used for other purposes. So once that happens, the evidence of the crime gets erased. So this is where they're trying to deal with it in the only seeming manner that they can, just due to the fact that these thefts can occur quickly and they are very difficult to trace.
If they did actually, serialize all of these, wouldn't it make them more traceable?
It would. It would also create an issue where if you had to replace one, or let's say your car broke down or the catalytic converter needed to be replaced, you could no longer just go to another car, go to a junkyard and grab one and then just put it onto your car. You'd have to
it has to be a licensed, documented process.
Yeah. It's almost becoming akin to the firearms industry in our state, where every sale purchase is being tracked and it has to be done through a licensed dealer. It does make it a felony to traffic in stolen catalytic converters, and it makes it a gross misdemeanor for anyone not licensed to sell or to offer catalytic converters that lack those last 8 digits on the vehicle. So this is where it's trying to deal with it. And some of the pushback is coming from some of the members of the industry who are just saying this is as much as we're able to take as far as regulations are concerned.
And basically, like, as much as, by which we mean, that we might not even be up to this.
Yeah. One of the interesting things was the testimony from someone from the Washington Association of Sheriffs and Police Chiefs who said that there was a missing component of the bill, which was the theft part. What some of the critics are saying is that this isn't really dealing with the people stealing the catalytic converters. I mean, one potential argument a person could make is if you really want the thefts to go away, have severe criminal penalties and also make it difficult for these people to get parole or reduced sentences and encourage prosecutors to just throw the book at them. But the idea is that the focus of this bill is not really, critics are saying it's not really on the people stealing the vehicles. It's the people who are selling or purchasing catalytic converters, because that's the only visible part of the transaction that they can focus on, other than just imposing very severe penalties for catalytic converter theft.
Yeah, I mean, they're focusing on the transparent real market rather than the black market. So the question is, okay, great. But I mean, if it was already a black market, I mean, how much will this really, if you're not really going after theft hardcore, what difference will this really make? And I guess time will tell. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com. For TJ Martinell, this is Jeremy Lott. Please subscribe and thanks for listening.